All right, so what I want to talk about are some of the nuts and bolts things. And as I mentioned earlier, we're going to be spreading this out over the course of several class periods, over the course of several weeks. My goal is to communicate to you what you need to do and how you'll know you're doing it to a degree that meets your own expectations, all right? I don't want there to be any surprises. The single most important thing to me is that those of you who have any, and there may be nobody in here who's in this position, I don't know you well enough to know yet, but if there's anybody in here who's sitting here right now thinking, well, it's biology and I am not gonna pass. I already know that. I never pass science. I never do well in biology. I don't do well in school. Like whatever that story is that has maybe been true in the past, the single most important thing that I want to convey to you is that does not have to be the story here. Every single one of you can pass this class. Absolutely every single one of you. And before we close up shop and say goodbye to each other today, you will all know exactly how to do that. I'm going to tell you what to do to pass the class. 3 extremely simple rules. Most of you are in a position that you'd like to do more than just pass the class. You might want to learn something, or you might want to get a certain grade. And so if that's the case, I got your back with that as well. And I'm going to just kind of walk you through a few things. The first thing is, so these are CV students and students from Maryland. And I took a group to Panama this summer, and we'll talk more about that because I'm going to take another group of students to Belize this coming summer, and I would like those of you who are interested to join us. So we'll talk more about that down the road. There's no need to, there's no hurry. But this was us. We were at a bee farm. So this was like a place that had been started by people who loved bees and butterflies. And they started this farm, and as part of it, they produce honey. And so this was us at a honey tasting. There were like 40 different kinds of honey, 40 different flavors. And some of them were just like honey from this bee, honey from this bee, honey from this plant, and we could taste the difference. And some of them were like infusions. There was, honey with jasmine or honey with chocolate or whatever. And it was super fun and super cool, and we all learned so much and had a blast. And that is really what my goal is for you guys. I would like you to be able to have fun in this class. I do not want this to be a drag. I don't want you to be dreading coming to this class. Having said that, what I mean by having fun is not show up, chat with your friends, or show up and do Instagram, or show up and sleep. What I mean is there's a way to make science fun. Many of you have discovered it already. There's a way to make learning in school fun for you. Some of you are dialed into that already, so you know. If that's not you, if you're hearing me say these words and you're like, yeah, that's a foreign language, man, that doesn't work, I would like to try to get you there. And I can't do it without your help, but I know it's possible. I have seen students for 25 years discover that school and learning and science and biology can actually be fun. So that is a big goal that I have for you. I want you to challenge yourselves. You're going to find very quickly that in this class, there's a broad range of experiences. Some of you have parents or guardians who are science professors at OSU or have founded a nonprofit science organization here in Corvallis. You probably already know a bunch about science. Some of you don't. Some of you are in geometry or beyond in math. Some of you are just starting Algebra 1. You have a variety of skills that you're working with, and what I want to do is help you find the place where your skills start to taper off and your learning can start to begin. I don't want anybody here to be rehashing the things that they already know, not because it's not fun to think about things that you already know, because that's not learning. You already know it. I also don't want you to feel like I'm asking you to do something that is way beyond what you're ready for. So we're going to try to find, with every one of you individually and with the class as a whole, the sweet spot, the place where you don't know it yet, and it's something you have to kind of work on, but also it's possible. That's where we're going to be targeting the instruction. I don't know you yet. I don't know how many of you are really concerned about school and grades and stuff. Some of you probably are. For those of you who worry about grades, these three things should be happening, and ideally in a way that doesn't cause you to freak out. Like, Ms. Adams took a test today. Do you mind if I tell them a little bit about this? And it kind of sucked because it was really stressful and it was really difficult and it really wasn't a great measurement of what she knows and what she can do. And my thought when I hear that is, why? Why do we design tests that are so challenging that people who are capable and qualified and skilled and interested, like, drive themselves crazy trying to take the tests? Nobody likes that. What if there's a way to set things up so that you don't have to freak out? You don't have to worry. You just have a job to do, and you do your job, and as long as you do your job, when you go in to take the test, you already know. How many of you think about going to university? Raise your hand if you think about going to college. Keep your hand up if you've thought about going to grad school. Graduate school is an interesting thing. Graduate schools, you have what's called a defense. When you do your defense at graduate school, you stand up in front of a group of people, some of whom you know and some of whom you don't. All of them know more than you. Some of them are smarter than you. That's how it works. And you give a presentation on something that you've been studying potentially for years. And at the end of your defense, they ask you questions. And then they give you a grade. And if you pass your defense, then you get your graduate degree. You get a master's degree or a PhD. If you fail, you're pretty much done. You're toast. You're never going to make it. Never in academia. Here's the secret. They don't let you give your defense if they don't already know you're not going to pass. So it's stressful and it's hard work, and there's a lot of like blood, sweat, and tears that gets poured into these defenses. But when you're sitting there looking out at the audience, you know they've already told you you're good. You're going to be good. That's what I would like to do. I would like you to walk in on the days that we do assessments in this class and already know I'm good. All I have to do is come in here and show what I already know. Okay? So that's, we'll be working on that, and I'll tell you how we're going to build systems to do that. I want you to earn credit. Some of you, that is not a problem. You earn credit, you pass your classes, and that's great. Almost always, there are at least a few students in here who are not students who have been successful in the past. If that's you, I can get you here. I can get you here. You have to work with me, but I'm not going to ask you to do something that you can't do. I'm going to only ask you to do things that you can do. And then some of you are on the opposite end of that spectrum. Some of you are like, I'm going to pass. I want an A. And I can't promise that you'll get an A, but I can promise that I will make sure, if that's what you want, that you know exactly what you need to do to get there, and I will help you every step of the way. All right? So most of you, if you want an A, there's going to be a system that you can follow, and it's going to work for you, and it's going to work for me, and you'll end up with your A. I can't promise that, but for most of you, that's going to be the case. All right? We're going to have some different things that get scored, different scores that go into the grade book. The only one I'm going to talk about today is what I would have had you turn in today had like everything been working. So if you didn't figure this out, Canvas is our system for like delivering assignments and grading and all that, and it just wasn't working yet. It's now working, I guess. I haven't had a chance to really play around with it, but now that it's working, I'm going to be asking you to turn stuff in pretty much every day. There's going to be at least one thing that we do. And every time you turn something in, you have the opportunity to earn 3 points. It's not that much, but there's going to be like multiple in-class assignments per week. So there's going to be lots and lots and lots of opportunities to get points. And here's the beauty of the way that these points are going to be awarded. It is entirely effort-based. all right? So if you don't turn anything in, you'll get a 0. If you were, did something, but you really weren't engaged, you weren't thinking, you weren't talking, you were just like, maybe just going through the motions or not really doing much at all, and then you turn something in, you'll get a 1 out of 3. If you are sort of in the, like it's 7th period and you might get distracted here and there, you might talk to some friends, but if mostly what I see is you're trying to do what I'm asking. Maybe it's a little hard for you because it's the end of the day or you get distracted, and you'll get a 2. If you're locked in and you are really focused on the work that we're doing, you'll get a 3. This is not going to be graded on completion, nor is it going to be graded on accuracy. So if you don't finish something and or it's wrong, but you were working your tail off the whole time, you'll get a 3. The in-class work is going to be your way to determine whether I think you're actually putting the effort in, okay? Those of you who want a really good grade should expect that you're going to be targeting 3s and you're going to be getting them most of the time. Every once in a while you'll get a 2. And if you come in on a really bad day, a day where you didn't get any sleep the night before, or you got, like bad news about a friend or something like that, you might like get a 1 or a 0 on that day, but most of the time you're going to be getting 3s, 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 because most of the time you're going to come in, you're going to work hard, and you're going to turn in your work and you're going to get out of here. The only thing that I really want to highlight here, make it super clear, that this is not just based on what you give me, because it is possible to give me something that is absolutely beautiful and totally correct and totally complete without trying at all. We can all think of ways to do that, right? And I'm not so much worried about cheating, I'm worried about learning. If you turn in something that you didn't think about, then you didn't learn anything, right? And so I want to see you working in class. I'm going to be watching, and I'm going to be recording, and I'm going to be giving you points based on what gets submitted and what you did while I was asking you to work. So it's a combo of those things. All you have to remember is it's your effort that matters. Your effort is what earns you the points. It's not what you turn in, and it's not what you want. It's not what your parents want or guardians want. It's what you're doing in class on a daily basis, okay? You get the 3 for showing me and Miss Adams and Mr. Fiskin, who's the other teacher who you guys will meet on Thursday. You'll get those points for showing us that you're trying to learn. That's it, right? So what does this look like? Well, on every day, come in and you're just going to be kind of thinking about a few things. I'm going to distill it for those of you who are just targeting a credit. Okay, I'll tell you exactly what to do. For most of you, though, there's going to be kind of you're going to be interweaving some things that you're doing. One of those things is try to use your class time productively. So I want you all to have friends in this class. I want you all to have fun. But if your time in this classroom is spent socializing or trying to sneak a glimpse at your Instagram on your phone, then you're not using your class time productively. This is where it happens. This is where the work happens, this is where the learning happens, and this is where the assessment happens. I'm going to be giving you scores based on what you're doing in here. So use your time productively. Everybody can do that to a certain degree. Some of you can lock it in and work on biology for 90 full minutes. Others of you, it's going to be more like 75. And that will be reflected in the grade that you get, but that's not too terrible, to be honest, right? I want you to have fun, and I really mean that. If we do this right, then every single one of you will be enjoying the stuff that we do, right? Maybe not this, but the biology. If we go outside and we look at stuff, it can be fun. If you're not doing something that you think is fun, then come and talk to me or Miss Adams or Mr. Fiskin and see if there's a way that we can make it more fun for you, because that is where you're going to start learning, is when you start enjoying yourself. If you actually think it's cool and interesting, you will learn. If you hate every minute of it, you probably won't. So I mentioned that you're all coming in from different vantage points. There are gonna be some things that we do that some of you are like, I can't do that, I don't get this, and that's okay. What I'm looking for is for you to try to learn. How many of you have ever lifted weights in the gym? Raise your hand if you've ever done that. Have you ever done the thing where you try to lift weights and it's too heavy for you? Like the bench press, and you got the two people on either side, you got your spotters, and you're doing the bench press, and it comes off the, comes off the supports, and then you can't keep it off your chest by yourself. And so it's like doing this, and you're pushing as hard as you can, and it's still going down, and it comes all the way down, and it hits your chest, and then you're still pushing as hard as you can, and it starts to go back up, but it's not you, it's the spotters. They're adding that extra little bit, and then it goes back onto the rack, and you're done, and you didn't do it. You couldn't do it, but you tried as hard as you could. That's what I'm looking for, okay? You can do that with your brain as easily as you can do it with your muscles, which is to say, it's challenging but possible for everyone. I'm gonna ask that you be positive and engaged. This is the kind of thing where, so if you come in and you're just having a terrible day, you got in a fight with your guardian, or you broke up with your significant other, or you're sick or whatever, that's okay. I'm gonna come in and have days like that. I'm gonna have days where I don't feel good, or I'm tired, or whatever, and I might be grouchy. That's not what I'm talking about. If you come in here every day hating what's going on, you hate the class, you hate the people that are in here, you hate me, then you're gonna be miserable. And while I would love for you to figure out how you can turn that around, if you're miserable, then you might wanna talk to your counselor and see, like, hey, it's not the end of the world to say to your counselor, that dude Brigar, I hate him with a passion, get me out of there. Like, that might be the best thing for you. I would rather have you here, because I think if you give me a chance, that you'll grow to be able to work with me and like me the same way that I expect to be able to work with you and like you. But if you hate me, let's find a different place, right? Like, there's no need to be miserable. Or if you just hate biology, we have other science options. If you hate biology, but you like machines, I teach another class, and I'd be happy to have you in there. So we can work with you to get you there if that's a difficult thing. Asking lots of questions. This isn't necessary for you to convince me that you care. This is how you learn. You learn by asking questions. If you ask the question and then you get an answer, you'll learn it. If I ask the question and then you research the answer on Google, hit or miss. And then this one, for those of you who know me at all, you know that this is a really important one. For those of you who don't know me, you're gonna discover that this is really important. This does not mean you have to like everybody. You don't, you won't. But I know that we can be nice to each other. I am gonna do my darndest to be kind and supportive to you guys every single day. That is how I'm gonna treat Miss Adams and Mr. Fiskin. That is how I try to treat myself. When I drop the ball, I try to do this and not kick myself too much. I would like you to do that with each other. I'd like you to do that with me. And for some of you, most importantly, I'd like you to provide that same kind of kindness and compassion to yourselves. And then I said that for those of you who are like, I'm never gonna be able to pass this class, I never pass anything. Let's be honest here, there's no way. There is way, and here is way. It's super simple. 3 things that you need to do, and every single one of you can do every single one of these things. The first, come to class when you can. That doesn't mean when you have the flu that you drag your sick body into the classroom. This means don't skip. This means don't hang out with your friends for 20 minutes and then come to class late. This means don't wander off in the middle of class. This means be here when you can. If you're here at this school, come to this class, okay? Second, use your class time to learn. What does that look like? Different for all of you. Some of you, we're gonna start looking at plants on Thursday or Monday of next week. Some of you know a bunch of plants already. That's awesome. You can learn more. Some of you know nothing about plants except they're green, and that's as far as you have gotten. You all have tons of things that you can learn. Figure out a way to use your class time to think about those things. And then give me something. I have to have evidence. If you don't give me anything, At the end of the day, I can't justify passing you. But if you give me stuff, then I can. If you do these 3 things, I will give you a C. Mathematically, if you end up at the end of this first semester with a 2% in the class, 2%, but you have been here every single day that you could possibly be here, you work hard to try to learn every single day, and you've turned in the work that you've done, then I'll just change your grade to a 70% and we'll be done. You will get a C. I absolutely promise you that I'll do that. I also can tell you I've never had to do that, because if you do these 3 things, you'll get a C at least on your own, if not a B or an A, all right? But if it comes to it, you may be the first person that I ever have to do this for. I will do it. And that means those of you who are sitting here thinking, well, I've never really passed a class before, like I suck at school, I suck at science. This is your ticket right here. This is how you get there. This is what success looks like, and I would like you all to know what success feels like. I'm going to just stop the recorder, and then forget how to stop the recorder.